Listen, the buzzword this year is BOI, Beneficiary Owner Information Report from the Department of FinCEN. You, as a business owner, you got to file it. We're going to break down what it is, how you do it, talk about it. Do we like it? Do we not like it? Stay tuned. Have you ever wondered what's the difference of working on your business versus in your business?
How some banks and people were instrumental in the development and the founding of our banking system.
On today's episode of Tax Tip, we getting down and dirty.
I want to start a business. I want financial freedom.
Do you have a business and you have children to employ?
Women should do this and men should do that.
Do you know the benefits of an S corporation? We're going to talk to you about the mistakes you need to avoid before starting your LLC. What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dr. BlackWealth, and we got...
It's your girl, Miss Fabfinancial.
The one and only.
How about that?
That's right.
No other. God didn't make another person like me.
Nobody like
That's
you.
it. It is it.
That's
This
it.
is it.
That's what you get.
What's the blueprint here? All right. Y'all don't pay me no mind.
Y'all funny.
So we're talking about the BOI.
Mm-hmm. What the people got to know?
Oh my God. Well, the people got to know they need to do it.
Right? Why?
Please do
Why you
it.
gotta do
It's
it?
a law.
I feel like the government
It's a federal
always-
law, y'all. We can't negotiate it. You can't squirrel out of
Always.
it. It's not like a maybe. It's not on. It's in the books in red.
They
It's like
always
that
in the
irrevocable
refrigerator.
trust. It's permanent.
Eating all the... You just can't stay out
But
my
it's
kitchen.
free. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything.
Oh my God.
It's not going to cost you anything.
Okay.
But unless you are a bad
It's fees,
actor.
though, right.
Unless you're a bad actor. Now, if
Okay.
you're a bad actor,
Ah.
then it may cause you to shuffle.
Uh-huh.
It may ruffle your feathers a little bit.
Okay.
And you might have to do the 2 steps to the left or the right. But for most of us laymen who are not bad actors,
Mm-hmm.
you just got to register with
Yeah.
FinCEN just like you do the Secretary of State. Except for your state charge, okay. So the BOI is a report
Uh-huh.
that will be consolidated, held by the FinCEN Financial Network,
Financial crime.
Financial Crimes Department, network. And that agency will house this database of businesses, right? Because they found out during the Russia-Ukraine situation that it was difficult to find the bad actors that they wanted to pay taxes. And they
So what
wanted
do
to
we-
kick out.
What are we telling them then? What do they want us to report?
They want us to report who owns the business,
Who actually owns the business?
who is making the decisions.
In the business?
They don't care, no ifs, ands, or buts. Who is the puppet master, right? Who is running? Who is making decisions? So rather,
Financial crimes department, what are they like looking for or preventing or?
well, okay. So in the financial crimes department, of course, they're trying to stop money laundering, right? Terrorism, and like the big things, right? Human trafficking, drugs, right? And so they launder money with shell companies, right? With people who in the front say they own the company, but those are not the people who really make the decisions. So to have a better way to find these people faster, they want everyone now to register, right? And so most of the fraud happens in the small business, that single member, limited liability. It's,
It's a little bias on the small business owner, isn't it?
I mean, if you a bad actor, if you
Say if you in the crimes.
are we advocating for the money launderer and the
have mercy.
the fentanyl smuggler?
I do not support that. I do not support
we are
that.
just caught up in it, but I don't think it's a problem.
I got y'all though. I am advocating for
Who are you advocating
my
for?
privacy though. So if I
It is not
disclose
public.
this,
It's
who's-
not public.
So who's looking at it?
The federal government.
Okay.
They have access to your stuff anyway. They
they
just
do?
want to get it faster.
Okay.
They just want to be able to get it faster. So all the agencies are going to be connected. Right. So FinCEN, right, is the interagency that works with all the other agencies, like the IRS, like it's financial crime.
So why they can't get the information from there?
Because it takes too long.
Is that our fault?
That's why they're coming up with that's why they're finding a solution to their problem. They're solution based. They're like, it's taking us too long.
So you got to report.
Especially some of the states that allow you to have anonymous LLCs,
For sure,
right?
Wyoming is one.
Absolutely.
I'm a big proponent of those.
Delaware,
Yeah.
right?
New Mexico.
Right, they allow you to have anonymous LLCs.
So if I got, let's say
So you can still have that.
Okay.
So if I want to sue you or
Right.
if I'm trying to
Like,
stalk
you can't
you,
look up on
I
the
can't
internet.
look it up. However, Big Brother says it's taking us too long because we got to then go get a court order. We got to unseal. But we don't need to do that no more.
So
Because that's where most of the fraud is happening.
Where?
In the shell companies and the anonymous LLCs, in terms of larger crime, right?
sure.
What their high level focus is. Now, does it fraud happen in the smaller? Absolutely. But initially, their focus was high level money laundering, drug trafficking, smuggling, that type of thing.
So if I got companies that's owned by trust, and then this trust owns this company, the holding company owns this company.
They
right?
want to know who is holding and managing said trust.
Okay.
So you can put on the BOI that Trust A is managing Trust B, but there are subsequent fields you still have to disclose who is managing the initial trust. Ultimately, they want a name, an address of a person, not a thing,
So
not a
is
business.
it based off the person who? So I had an issue, not an issue, but when I was looking into it, there was a lot of discrepancy. So a lot of agencies are fighting this thing because there's a lot of discrepancies around, or I don't want to say discrepancies, just questions about,
For sure,
like who makes decisions in the business, because ultimately they're looking for who is the decision maker.
Absolutely.
So the owner on paper could not be a decision maker.
Absolutely.
So
All the above.
driving revenue, big major purchases,
Absolutely.
stuff like that has to be
Absolutely.
disclosed on these type of forms, right?
Right. So some of the parameters, right? So if you fall under this, right? If you are a business that is registered with the Secretary of State, right? That's one thing. You have 20 or less employees, right? And you generate under $5 million, you need to report for the BOI, right? However, you also have to have at least 25% of ownership. So you could say, well, I'm 10% owner, but I'm a decision maker. You still need to be listed on the BOI. So it's a and or. They are covering all their bases. So they want
So
the
what happens
puppet master.
if you make more than that, or are you above that?
So the larger corporations are typically governed by a different agency, right? So we know who the owners of Amazon are for,
I mean, but there's private companies that are big.
There are, if you over 5 million,
right,
and you have 20 or more employees,
right,
typically the type of fraud they're looking for they're not really doing that.
What I heard you say is we need to build a business with over 20 employees with over 5 million in revenue. Is that what y'all heard?
And you have to have a physical. I mean, if that's your goal, go for it. That's a good goal, right? Let's go. Listen, that's a good goal.
I mean, that's what I.
That's what you're
trying to do.
If that's your mere motivation,
For
then
sure.
go whatever you need to get you
But
to.
in the meantime, we're gonna have to report it before we get there.
To be exempt, right? Because there are some exemptions. The few exemptions, of
There's
course.
a couple professions that's exempt too.
For sure, right? So if you are a bank, securities companies, because they are governed by a separate agency that scrutinizes them anyway, Financial advisors, you do trading, you brokerage companies, those types of things. But typically most is like 20 or more employees, U.S. full-time employees, right? U.S. full-time employees. You also have to have a physical location. So you can't be working out your home and have full-time employees and everybody is working from home and you don't have a physical location. So you have to have a physical location in the U.S. You have to have 20 U.S. full-time U.S. employees. You have to make at least $5 million, right, to be exempt, right? You have to hit all those buckets for you not to file the BOI. Everybody else, you need to file the BOI. And it's easy, y'all. I mean, unless you...
There's deadlines associated with it, right?
Absolutely.
So we got now. You want to do it now.
Just do it now. Just do it now. The deadline is today. If you are a pre-existing business, right, that means that you started your business before 2024. You have until the end of the year. Right. If you start your business in 2024, you started a business this year, right? You have 90 days. Okay. 90 days to do it. Now, also, too, if you, another kind of gray area was like, well, hey, who should be on the BOI? Because some people are registered agents, right? They're like, well, hey, I help people set up their businesces. Do I need to be on
coaches, consultants?
Right. I need to be on the
drive revenue
on the BOI. So there are two things that'll help you determine if you should be on the BOI or not. So if the business was formed before 2024, right, you do not have to be on the BOI. They're not concerned. If you do not have to be on the BOI, if you are setting up someone's BOI, right? You don't have to be on there. If it's a pre-existing business, right? If it's a current business and you are contractual, right? As a for services under a contract basis, you don't have to be on the BOI. So even if you are like a tax planner, tax preparer, you don't have to be on the BOI. It's contractual. I am advising you, but ultimately it's your choice on how you manage, how you run your company.
Because we got a contract for my service to you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Those contractual services exempt me from being on your BOI because you are ultimately making the decision. And I don't have any ownership in your company. That was like a key thing I saw in that, like, hey, the contractual piece of it. And it specifically said like advisory and contractual services don't have to be on the BOI. However, if you are a CFO, a CEO, and you have management making decisions, you are making decisions in the company, then you need to be on the BOI if it's established in 2024.
It's a little gray area with them fractional CFOs.
But they don't have any ownership. True.
But most CFOs don't. They are employed.
Well, employees is another key thing. So that will have to, they'll have to, if you making decisions, right? And you are an employee and you don't have any ownership, right? That is the gray area. Oh. So you would have to decide depending on the size of your company, right? So if you fall under the 5 million, right? So if you're a 1.2 million company and I'm a COO for you, I'm an employee, I have no ownership, right? And maybe it's contractual, right? Or, I'm here for a specified period of time, then the way it's laid out, I don't have to be on your BOI.
So for the beneficiary owner's information report, where do we go report it at?
FinCEN.gov.
Easy enough.
And it's easy, y'all. It's really like 4 steps. You want to make sure you have your ID. Yeah. You want to make sure you have, because they're asking for all the things. They even were like, listen, they're not playing. They even have up there, like, if you are part of an Indian territory, like, they're like, they have all the Indian tribes. Like, are you Sioux, Cherokee?
Real mixed feelings about the government.
But I feel like if you're not, it's really not a thing.
It's not a big deal.
I mean, because ultimately the government has access to all your stuff anyway. Like, I feel like we get really caught up in it. It's just making it easier for them. Right? The government is really old school on a lot of stuff. And so this is the modernizing their system.
Well, y'all, we doing monthly webinars on this thing. So if you guys want to know more about the BOI, make sure you click the link down below where you can subscribe, get our news feed, and join our webinar.
And the fines are steep. The fines are steep.
It's like a whole lot of money.
$591 a day.
Right.
Plus
a lot of money.
$10,000 civil penalty, including 2 years imprisonment.
Well, on that note, make sure you file your BOI. We got the webinars for it. We hope you like this video. Stay tuned to us for more tax and wealth tips. And don't forget to keep minding your business. Like, share, subscribe. See you when we see you.
He said.